All right, so next up, let's take a look at Northwestern versus UConn. Northwestern coming in as the 9 seed, getting the win over FAU today in overtime. UConn coming in as the 1 seed overall. Really dominant performance today. Was up almost like 40 points at halftime. Northwestern, I think, can give UConn a few issues. In particular, Boo Buie is really impressive player. He also has a somewhat supporting cast, the second, third best player on the team, but they do have a lot of injuries kind of building up right now for Northwestern, which might make it a little difficult. UConn, on the other hand, has looked really dominant this year when I've watched them. Tristan Newton, Donovan Clingan. When Clingan is hitting on all cylinders, I don't know if UConn can be beat. He's that dominant when he is balling. But let's look at Northwestern a little bit here. All right, coming out of the Big Ten Conference. Non-conference-wise, you got to win over Dayton. Dayton is a tournament team. A loss to Mississippi State, which Michigan State beat today. They do have a win over Purdue. Really impressive win there. They also have a win over Illinois. So those are the main two teams out of the Big Ten that you're going to think of, Purdue and Illinois. Northwestern's beating them both, okay, which means they can probably play with anybody, in particular UConn in this case. Because like I said, if they've beaten Purdue, they've beaten Illinois, they can play with anybody. That's for sure. Then looking at UConn, all right, really impressive resume. Lost to Kansas in the non-con, beat North Carolina, beat Gonzaga, and then beat Creighton and Marquette in conference play, as well as losing to Creighton. So this could be an interesting matchup. I think Northwestern is going to be able to hang around with them in the first half, but ultimately those injuries might end up being too much. It looks like right now UConn is favored by 14.5. I think Northwestern will be able to keep it under that. I would say closer to single digits, maybe 10, somewhere in there, a little less than 10 to 7 probably. Again, I think Northwestern can hang around with them in the first half because Boo Buie is good enough to definitely upset a team in March, and I think he could lead that charge here. I'm not saying Northwestern's going to beat them, but I think Boo Buie can at least give UConn some fits, for a little bit. But ultimately, I think UConn too deep, too strong, too big inside. I think UConn ultimately is going to get the win here by close to double digits, but not quite double digits. But who do you think wins this game? Let me know down in the comment section and why. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.